Welcome to Don't Quote Me on That. One day we will have an intro, but today is not that day. Hi, I'm Eleanor.
And I'm Kalina.
And welcome back to Don't Quote Me on That.
Where we kind of talk about movies. And Eleanor knows the name of the show, finally.
Yes, I do. This is our third comeback.
Who's counting?
Yeah.
We weren't good at math in school.
No, I haven't taken a math class since high school, which was a long time ago.
Also, if you hear noise in the background, I'm not doing my hair. Hence the no video shebang. But work smarter, not harder.
Exactly. So in this show, we're going to go through kind of what we've been doing. Chit-chatting, catching up, getting used to talking into an empty room again. And, so, spoiler alert, Clint and I have both been to grad school since last time we were doing this, I think.
Terrible, horrible, no good, very bad fact.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think we were both, I guess so. I guess we were both in grad school last time.
I think so,
It was last year, about a year ago-ish, a little less. And I finished, no. Yes, it was. Grad school, that was a thing we did. We don't know if you remember or not. Let's not fact check ourselves. That's going to take a long time. Moral of the story, Eleanor and I went to grad school. Eleanor and I, well, here's what we'll do. We'll just give them the full rundown. Okay. So, full rundown. Eleanor and I went to college in Ireland.
That is correct.
We ended up living in a house together.
That is correct.
That's how we met. Eleanor and I are not from the same place, for reference. No. Eleanor has to finish the story because I have to sneeze.
We're both from America, but we're not from the same Americas. And so our first year of college, I'll keep going until Kalina interrupts me for being wrong because that's how it always works. So our first year of college, first semester, we had some classes together. We didn't chit-chat too much, but we were friendly. And then second semester, we had more classes together, I think. Or no, I guess we had the same amount the whole time. And Kalina had started doing a radio show, I think the semester before. And one of the classes we had together was media, and so sometimes we chit-chatted about the radio show. And Kalina had an episode where both her co-host and your one who works at the radio station they were both on the episode, so she didn't have a spare to take photos. And so because
social media is very important.
It is. Speaking of, actually, we have social media, don't we?
We have some social media. It's don't quote us on that on Instagram and TikTok, and don't quote us 27 on Twitter. Very funny on all of those, so check those out.
And they'll be linked below. Sorry, just had to, that little link reminded me. Anyway, so Kalina had agreed to take the photos, and it was right after one of our classes together got out, and she said, Eleanor, do you want to take a photo of me? And I said, yeah, why not? I don't want to walk home alone. And then a couple days later, Kalina knocked on my door and said, do you want to do a radio show? And I said, okay.
I would like to make it clear it wasn't my idea, because I was fully convinced Eleanor was going to say no, but your one that worked at the radio station was like, the Eleanor chick seems really cool. You should ask her to do a show with you. And I was like, I probably said about 20 words to this woman in my life, but sure, I'll ask her. So yeah, I knocked on her door. She said yes. I was like, I didn't think I'd get this far. So then we go to the radio station. I think the next day we went, and the guy was like, okay, so what are you guys going to do the show on? And Eleanor and I were like, we both have media class together. So we decided that was a good idea. And then we were trying to decide what we had both seen. Problem, Eleanor and I don't watch movies. Eleanor and I definitely don't watch the same movies. And so the only thing we had both seen and could remember well enough to talk about within 10, 15 minutes of preparation was Twilight. So we were like, whatever, we'll go in, talk about Twilight, see how it goes. And then at the last second, your one was like, also, I've got this 15-year-old kid here who's doing his work placement. So, like, could you take him in and show him how the radio equipment works since you know what to do?
And
And
mind
we were
you,
like,
this was my first time in a radio station. Kalina's the one who knew what to do. I
Yeah.
was just there.
and so we were like, I mean, sure. So our first episode and what started us on this lovely journey was February, I think, 2018. Me, Eleanor, a 15-year-old kid named Pierce, who's like, honestly, like, he's like a local legend with our show at this point. We were talking about the plot of Twilight, and then I think we spent a good 10 minutes trying to convince him to watch Twilight because he was like, it seems kind of girly. And we were like, no. But they rip off the guy's head at the end. And the rest is history. Here we are.
Literally, Kalina and I have talked to each other every single day since then.
It's embarrassing, honestly.
It's awful. But
And then we so we finished college, so obviously stopped doing the radio show. And then we were like, that was fun though, let's do it as a podcast. But like, we didn't want to do it as a podcast because like everyone has a podcast. I'm like, you know what it's like when someone's like, I have a podcast, you don't want to talk to them anymore.
yeah. But
So,
the rules are different
I'd like to
for
come up with a
us
different-
because we do it in
yeah.
a cool way.
I'd like to come up with a different word than podcast, but I don't know what to say. So this is just our listen, basically we're still doing the radio show, it's just not on the radio. So leave us alone.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's not it's an immersive friendship experience.
Exactly. Listen, Ellen and I would have these conversations anyway, so we're just attracting our audience. Also, I'm gonna try and be good because we suck at staying on topic, and our hour-long episodes turn into 3 hours, so we're not gonna do that today.
I was gonna say it does help a little bit to have a time limit.
So yeah, we aim for like 45 minutes an hour, because honestly, at a certain point, I think sometimes our thoughts should be kept in our brains, and I think about the hour limit is where we reach those thoughts. So
Yeah.
but Eleanor's the big boss today for once. I'm giving her the reins.
I am.
She's got the layout. What are we doing?
So today we are just chit-chatting, doing a little retrospective, where we've been, what we're doing. Clint and I both went to we did the same undergrad, but we went to different grad schools, and I feel like we haven't like sat down and talked about the differences, so this is kind of an excuse for me to pick your brain. But also, I didn't have time to watch a movie, so this is going to be easiest. We don't need any preparation for this.
Okay. Well, for background, Ellen and I, like I said, we met in college. We went to the same university in Ireland, and we both did media, and we both did 2 subjects. That's the word I'm looking for. 2 subjects for our degrees. So I did media and French studies, and Eleanor did media and history. So we had like obviously a lot of crossover, but then also a secondary thing to kind of bring different perspectives into it, which is why it was kind of fun to talk about media. And also, Eleanor and I don't, like I said, we don't watch the same things, so I think Eleanor and I agree on a lot of fundamental things, but consume a lot of different media, so it's interesting to see how we perceive.
We like different parts of media. Like, I'm very much a theory girl, and Colleen is more of a practical girl. So I think we've got a nice little Venn diagram going.
It's opposites attract, but also if you made one person and split them into 2 somehow.
Yeah, we're the same, but also not.
Yeah, don't same girl, different font.
So, Kalina, what program did you do? You don't have to give the full title if you don't want to, because I don't remember your full title.
It's okay. I thankfully do. It is on my little little parchment. I did mental health and mental skills in sports and exercise, which, if you notice, none of those words are media or French. But I, as Eleanor said, I'm more of a practical media person, and to me, unless you're gonna like teach media and work in it academically, I don't think it's necessary to study it further. You know what I mean? Like, it's not really like, if you're interested in it, great. 10 out of 10. No shame to anyone who does that. I just think for me personally, I'm more of a hands-on person, and like media and like the different things I'm interested in, like techniques and stuff, are stuff you learn hands-on that develop over time. So it's not really something you can study, what camera equipment people use and stuff like that. So, and then I've been an athlete for a long time. I just wanted something different. I've always wanted to get my master's. It was a good fit for me. I just think in general. I like breaking things down. And to do that, basically, I took a lot of psychology courses, but with the context of sport behind everything. So it was a lot more interesting for me in that sense.
Okay,
What did you do? This is a one-on-one. Ask me all the questions and ask you all the questions.
Oh, no. I'll talk about myself. It's fine.
Oh, God.
I do want to say, I do think that your master's degree was a really good fit for you. I did a Master of Media Studies.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
I know. So, Kalina got a Master's of Science. I got a Master's of Arts, which I think is also fitting. Mm-hmm. And I stayed at the same school, so same professors and whatnot. I don't know. I just like I said, I really like media theory, and I like being able to talk about whatever I want. And it was fun to put MA on my email signature.
Oh, yeah. I had a running joke with one of the guys in my master's. It was a lot of group projects for my master's, but thankfully for most of my classes, I had the same 3 people in my group. So one of them, anytime we were like emailing drafts back and forth, we had this running joke about how many ridiculous titles we could add to the end of our name at the end of the email. So I was like, Kalina, MSc, BA, PA, like just random DDS, like dentist, just the most random thing you could think of, and whoever had the longest one won.
Did you win?
Always, of course.
Perfect.
Listen, half the time I wrote the email, I was like, here's the second draft, and then I'd spend 10 minutes Googling different things you could put on the end of your name.
Grad dip. PhD JD.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I went on a long spiel about my degree. Did you enjoy media? Do you feel like, I always want to know, do you feel like you learned more than you did in our bachelor's, or was it just expanding on stuff you had already learned?
For me, it was definitely expanding on stuff we had already learned. And some of it, like I said, I stayed in the same school and I did the same program. And so there was a lot of rehashing old ideas, but I think being able to focus solely on media instead of splitting between media and history like I did for my undergrad gave me more time to dig into what I really like. So I don't think I necessarily learned new things as far as like big picture things go, and I learned like new little fun facts, but mostly building.
I get that.
So we both did theses, dissertations, theses. And I know yours was a group thesis, and I was very jealous.
It was weird because for our undergrad, since we both did you did 2 subjects and you pick what subject you want to do your undergrad dissertation in, which they don't have in America. You don't do an undergrad dissertation.
You do in an honors program.
In an honors program, but like large.
Most people, yeah.
What's the phrase? By something.
By and large.
That's so stupid. There's not another word in that. Okay, well, by and large you don't. And in Ireland you do. And so we did our UGD. We both did ours in media. Shocking. This is going to be a reoccurring theme, funnily enough. And I did mine on the 27 Club because I'm not a psychologist. So we're not going to get into that. And Elanor, so we're not going to get into what Elanor did hers on. I'll let her talk about that. I'm not a psychologist. So I don't want to get into it. So yeah, I did mine on 27 Club in media. So then obviously very big difference. And you got to pick your topic. That was it. And for my master's, we were given a list of topics at the beginning of halfway through first semester or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you ranked which ones you wanted from I think you could pick up to 5, and you ranked them. And then they would assign you based on where they thought you would, obviously based on first come, first serve. And then also where they thought you would do well. And so the one I ended up getting selected for was basically looking at how behavior change techniques and which behavior change techniques are the most effective to get athletes to change their diet and follow a correct diet. So I really enjoyed that. And it was 2 people. So it was me and this other girl in my class, which was great because I'll be honest with you, for the first half of it, I didn't know what we were supposed to be doing. Long story short, we just looked at a bunch of studies and compiled all the data into numbers. And we're this is, the types of behavior change techniques used. These are the ones that were most effective, yada, yada, yada. And it came to a little conclusion at the end. But it was really nice to bounce ideas off of someone versus when you're like, I bounced my ideas off my undergrad dissertation with Elanor, obviously, but like it wasn't the same because she wasn't working on it with me. Whereas, you know, when you're working on it together, and especially if, like, you know, we have to do some math, we have to do some science, so it was nice to like have that little group component. Also, sometimes if you've been staring at something too long, you're like, this doesn't make any sense anymore. You can give it to someone who's like also knows what it's supposed to say.
Yeah.
That's always nice.
What
about your thesis?
My thesis was, so my undergrad thesis, like Kalina said, you got to pick a topic and run with it. So my undergraduate thesis focused on celebrities who changed their identities and career paths.
I have an idea. When you talk about your thesis, you should just say you talked about a successful British boy band. And that's like no, vague.
Then people might ask me about the Beatles, and I don't know jack about the Beatles.
You just say, I wrote it a really long time ago. I don't really remember the topics discussed. This is the overall theme, though.
Okay, but consider it's way more fun to tell people my thesis was in one direction and then watch them go, what do you mean? And I said, like the boy band, and they go, oh.
That's what I said when she told me.
Anyway, I wrote about One Direction. It was really fun. For my master's thesis, you had to come into the program when you applied. You have to give a little blurb on an idea you have for your thesis. At that point, I wrote a little write-up about how I would study One Direction again. But in my degree, basically, I don't like movies very much. I've always been interested in music, and I've always been interested in television. And in my undergrad, we learned a lot more about television as like a narrative form and kind of theory on TV. And I got really into that. And over lockdown, I'd watched all of Law & Order SVU. And so I'd started thinking about Law & Order SVU. And so I wrote my master's thesis on the way a certain type of criminal, or not necessarily criminal, I wrote it on how different, perpetrators, thank you, how a specific type of perpetrator is portrayed in the show.
On the whole same girl, different font, I'm also a Law and Order girly, but I'm a Law and Order purist. I will only watch original Law and Order, and Elanor is a Law and Order SVU kind of gal. Yeah. So that's always interesting. I refuse to watch the other one, so.
Yeah, I refuse to watch yours, so.
Yeah. Even though mine is the reason yours exists, I just feel like you should pay homage to the OG, because without Law and Order, there's no Law and Order SVU, and Law and Order Criminal Intent, and Law and Order the other one, and the other one.
And the other one.
And the other one.
But I mean, my show's never ended.
My show came back. What you try again? My show just went on a brief hiatus. You know who else went on a brief hiatus?
How brief?
And didn't come back?
That's offensive, and we're moving on. So anyway, I wrote about One Direction, and then I wrote about Law & Order SVU.
And the Law & Order SVU one was very interesting.
Thank you.
It made me want to watch the show, which is the highest praise I can give anything.
I tried to read some of Kalina's thesis, her post.
I was like, hello, here's how you get people to eat better.
And it didn't inspire me to eat better. It mostly made me want to poke my eyes out. But that's just because you used a lot of technical language and it's just not it's not a subject I'm immersed in enough to.
I love saying behavior change techniques. How you get athletes to adhere to correct and proper dietary restrictions.
Yeah. Brilliant.
For reference, I am an athlete. I don't do any of the things I learned in my
But if you wanted to, you'd know.
Yeah. I tell my teammates what they should be doing.
It works. I think when I was writing this list of questions, I threw some in to try to keep it focused on media. So
that's smart. This is a media show.
Yeah. I have 2 degrees in media, so like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, to be fair, I'm the only reason we're getting derailed because
it took me 5 minutes to open GarageBand today.
Beautiful. That's why you took so long to call.
Yeah, sorry. Did you have a go-to thesis playlist or study playlist?
No. Eleanor Eleanor's gonna laugh at me. She did this before. One year we were looking at like our like Spotify Wrapped, right? And they have the playlists on Spotify that show you like what your Wrapped was for the years before. And we went to college in 2017. I think we started college, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think my 2016 Spotify Wrapped, one of my top songs was from Hamilton. And Eleanor laughed at me for a very long time about it. But it's because there's one song on there where your man is like rapping about Alexander Hamilton, as they do. And he's like, how do you write so quickly and so much? So that was when I was in high school, I was like, I need to write a lot. So that was my song. But in college, not so much. I have different playlists. So I usually, if I was like on a crunch, would listen to the same playlist I listened to before I work out, like my workout playlist, that sort of hyped up. But like sometimes you need something, if it's not like pressed for time, my nice quiet like driving playlist, depending on the vibes. Mm-hmm. So long story short now.
I did a lot of the study lo-fi whatever 8-hour.
Ooh.
Yeah. I can't.
One time I listened to one of those dark academia ones on YouTube. It was like, you have killed, I don't know, it was a long title. It involved killing someone in a library, but it was a good playlist.
I can't do like any ones with rain sounds because then I get sleepy. But like just music beats works.
Just rain sounds will make me sleep. What you gotta do is I had the dark academia playlist up on one tab and then rain sounds on another tab, and then you just play them at the same time at different volumes. Peak condition.
Just in a big cozy blanket and boom.
That's what it was like in Ireland. It was always raining, so I was vibing.
Oh my god, it was.
We're gonna get a little sappy. What's the next question?
The next question is worst memory from college.
A worst memory?
It says best or worst.
I can't think of I had a good time. I do have some funny ones. One time Eleanor and I were had to stay late at the school to help with something. And then so we had to go to the bathroom, but it was like 10 p.m. so all of the lights were off. So we had to go find the bathroom in the dark, and I had a jump scare about 10 different times.
We were in a building that is older than the state of Arizona.
Yeah, it's the oldest building it's like the original building for the college, and it's definitely haunted. And it was pitch black, and we're trying to find the bathroom, and then there was this automatic door, but the automatic door was around a corner. So the motion sensor for the door was before you actually saw the door. So we're walking past the motion sensor, and I just hear the door open, and I about died because I thought someone was coming to kill us. Oh my God. What else? Worst or best memories. One time I stood on a pole, and I did said that was the day we were friends.
I did say worst memory / assignment / a memorable story.
Oh, hello. Here's a memorable story. One time we had a college professor who we walked into his class, and he said, I haven't been allowed to teach first years in 4 years because last time I did, they all failed. And that was the first day. That was the first thing he said to us. And funnily enough, no one did terribly well in that class.
Yeah, and then a couple of years later, I was talking to the Dean of Arts, and we were sitting at a table with this girl who just started, and she was doing first year religion, and I was like, oh, how are the class? Because I remember when I took it, there was one teacher, and then the Dean of Arts goes, yeah, he's not teaching here anymore. And I said, oh, I didn't even say his name.
I can't imagine why.
But yeah, he's definitely, I think part of the problem is that we had him second semester. The first semester guy for religion was amazing and hilarious and informative and all that. And then it just went from day to night.
Yeah, it was like having Barney, and then you go from Barney to, I don't know, just any military movie ever. that was what happened to us.
We also had one teacher who never got Kalina's name right.
I don't know. That was a great memory for me personally. I thought it was hilarious
for me. Oh yeah, it was. Sorry. Moving on to best, because I don't have any worst ones. I think we had a
Oh,
pretty
the
good
stairs
time.
in the school were stupid. They never got easier.
God, the stairs
But at the bottom of the stairs on Thursdays, there was like a farmer's market. This man
Oh,
had Indian food, so like that made it worth it, you know? Take the good with the bad.
the food there was so good. Okay. Also, Kalina, what was your favorite? We're both nerds, so we both have an answer for this, so I'm just gonna ask it. What was your favorite assignment throughout college?
Oh, I probably the same answer you do. We had a film class. I actually don't remember the name of the class, but anyway, we had to for the end of it. We had to make a pre-recorded bit and then another pre-recorded bit and then do something live that incorporated the pre-recorded bits. So it was a group project. Ellen and I were in a group together, obviously, and we had a couple other people, and we decided to do a mock episode of Dr. Phil. And so then like for each part you had to have a different role. So like I think for the first part I edited and Elanor did. I remember what you did. And then for the second part
I was acting. No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't.
you did
I
something
wasn't
else.
acting in these. I think I wrote one of them.
Yeah. So I edited and Eleanor wrote. And then for the next one, I think Eleanor edited and I did something else. But basically, we did everything together because that's what we do. And then for the live bit, I got to do my favorite thing, which I got to direct the live bit. So I got to be like, lights go, and tell when to roll the pre-recorded bits that we had done. But it's the funniest thing I think I've ever done in my life.
It was really good. We had that. Oh, yeah, we had a lot of fun with that. It was originally set up to be a news show, like your 6 o'clock news, but
Well, no, because of the way it was set up, right? It was you had to do I think like a 3-minute pre-recorded bit and then 2-minute pre-recorded and then live incorporating them. But because of that structure, it's most people do a news show because that's how a news show will be like now to blah 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 with the weather, and you could just do that as your pre. It's like it's easier to set up the cutaways. You know what else we could have done? A SNL episode. We could have done a weekend update bit.
I really wonder if ours gets shown, because in the class, obviously you watch a lot of examples of yours previous, and he goes through what was good and what was bad, and how to make your assignment stronger because of it. I wonder if he shows ours. I really hope he does.
I think so because I think we produced good work and like our editing was good and all of our sound and stuff. But also I think it's a good example of, because I think when he was showing us, he had a few examples of like these people didn't necessarily go the news route or something, and then we didn't have to make an advertisement. Oh yeah, we had to make it.
No, advertisement was for the sister class to this one.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I think I'd like to imagine he shows ours just as an example of like it doesn't have to be a news.
It was a pretty good. I mean, we did really well in that class.
Everyone laughed, so that was my main goal at the end of the day.
Also, I don't know if you know this. One of my favorite assignments. It was in my master's class, and I took a class on radio. And for our final assignment, we had to we all got an article, and we had to kind of dissect it using real world examples. And so I talked about our show for like half of this program, and not to toot my own horn, but I'm going to. So the article was basically about how like different types of humor in radio, and so I dissected the two different. Anyway, I talked about how funny we are, and I used some really funny clips, and people laughed. And then after I left class, my lecturer came out and was like, "I'm not really one to tell people their grades before because I have to grade it properly, but you're gonna get an A." And I said, "Oh." Okay.
Oh wait, I have another good assignment. Just for reference, the rest of episodes won't be as academic. They will, but like not like this. But, Eleanor and I had to do one. Actually, there's now that we're talking about it, I didn't remember at first what assignments I did, but there was one where we had to do we had to put together kind of like a little podcast clip. So we have to go and interview someone. So I interviewed a friend of mine who's a boxer, and
we weren't together on this one. We had different groups.
It was the first time we were apart. But I interviewed a friend of mine. We had to go get ambient sound, and that one was really fun. And then there was another one we had to make a newspaper, like the front page of a newspaper, and that was fun. But what I'm thinking of is in our last year together, Ellen and I had to write a screenplay, a script for a movie. And Eleanor and I have the same brain, so everything, and like we need other people. Like I think the group project, the fake Dr. Phil worked because the people liked our ideas, but you had other people there who would have been like, no, this is stupid, or like this doesn't make any sense. But when it's just Eleanor and I, we're like, no,
Yeah,
this
nobody
is
has
genius.
that filter.
So it was like Percy Jackson was the gist of the story, and I think it was called The Way of the Gods. But we had a lot of fun doing it.
Oh my God,
And
we
our
had so
teacher
much fun.
didn't give us a bad grade, so that's
No. She was also the type to not give A's on principle. So I think if
Yeah.
she wasn't, we got like the closest you could get
yeah.
to
We
an
got the
A.
next best thing.
Yeah.
No.
So
That was fun. I forgot about
that
that
was so
one.
much fun. Oh man. Also some memorable but personal memories. I actually thought about this the other day. I told the story. Kalina and I, our first year, we'd been friends for like maybe 2 or 3 months at this stage. We had exams, and obviously my media exams were first, and for history I didn't have exams, I had essays. So our media exams were over, but Kalina still had some French exams, and I went to the store and I purchased alcohol, and then I just got drunk on your desk and poorly read your French flashcards.
Yeah, so it was really good for me because I not only had to translate what she said, I had to first figure out what she was trying to say because Eleanor has never spoken French a day in her life. So it was really making me work, but I think it made me all the better for it. My favorite memory, or one of them, is besides the first episode we did, it was it snowed, and Eleanor and I had never seen snow before. Eleanor's from Arizona and I'm from Florida, so like hot places, it doesn't snow. And so we were like, let's go out and see the snow. And then we built a snowman, and then Eleanor and I was like, let's take photos. So she set up her little camera, and it was doing like the little self timer, so she had to like mad dash back from the car that we had commandeered someone's car to put the camera up on. And on one attempt, Eleanor fell over. So there's a photo of us where she's lying on the ground, and I am dying laughing at her. And that was the day I decided we were friends. That
Yeah,
cemented
that's
it for
definitely
me.
a core memory.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I said that. I'm also sorry I said it like that.
Also, Scotland. We went to Scotland together and
Went to
ended
Scotland on
every night
Christmas.
by sitting in bed and eating McDonald's and watching My 600-Pound Life, which was the height of luxury.
I think one of my favorite things about Kalina and our friendship is that we've traveled a little bit together, not as much as I would like, but a little bit. And I think we approach it the same way in that vacations are, you don't have to pack every minute. Like we do a lot when we're there, but we always have like kind of at least 2 hour bookends on the start and the end of the day to just relax.
And I always say when you go someplace, you should have one day where you live like a local, which to me means like if I live someplace and had a day off, like I don't do anything on Sundays. So like you have one day where like you just don't leave here, wherever you're staying, and you just chill out and do whatever. Because like you're doing whatever, but in a different country. So
It's really nice. Also, last year, Kalina was out of school at this time, but I was still in school. Kalina was living in Slovakia. I was living in Ireland, and she came to visit me for a weekend. And then, like 2 weeks later, I went to visit her for a weekend, and it was
fantastic.
It was fantastic because it felt like the other week didn't really exist. It just went from messing around in Ireland, messing around in Slovakia. It was really fun.
Yeah, because like I came home, by the time I finished unpacking and everything, Eleanor was there, and I was like, oh my God, I just saw you.
But that kind of leads me into my next question.
Oh boy.
I've never asked you this, so I'm really curious to know. What have you been doing since you graduated college?
Oh my God, that's so crazy because I haven't really thought about this too much either. So I started my master's in January of 2021. It must have been. Yeah, 2021. And it was all online. So it was the school was in Ireland, but I was in Florida doing it. And then, as I mentioned, I am an athlete. Very proud of that fact, not to sound any which way. But I got an opportunity to play. I play water polo, so I got an opportunity to play water polo professionally. So I left for that in like August of 2021. So I was finishing up my degree online and playing water polo. So I finished my degree last December 2021. That was a lot of years. But I'm still playing water polo professionally. So I'm chilling in Slovakia. That's kind of really the only thing I've been doing. I went home for a couple months over the summer. But, I train and I have a dandy old time, and maybe I'll put my degrees to use at some point in time and make that money back.
I was gonna ask you. I mean, I know you talked about how you don't follow the advice in your in your thesis, but do you think you use like skills or methods you picked up there in your real life? Do you think it's like at least helped?
Yeah, a little bit. And I think I don't, not even if I'm conscious of it, but like obviously like one thing we talked about a lot in my degree was like self-talk and, positive self-talk, like tools you can give an athlete to help them improve their performance and their confidence, not quickly, but like on their own, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like things like talking to yourself positively, which like I noticed, I'm joking, but I have a tendency to joke around and be like, oh my God, I suck, or, stuff like that. So I've been trying to be a little better about that, because even though I know I'm joking, your brain hearing that still might not always perceive it that way. But I think the biggest thing is I even if I don't do it, I see how it interlinks with like me training every day and my games and stuff, or like like my relationship with my teammates and my coach. And so when I am ready to work, because I have I can tell someone you need to do this, but I also now have a real world example. I can say I have been through this personally. X, Y, and Z happened. This is why you should do this. So I think that's the best part of it all.
Good. I'm glad it links.
Oh my God, Elanor, what have you been doing since you've graduated? I have no clue. It's been so long since I talked to you.
So I finished my degree in... Well, I moved back home to America when my classes were over, so like May, I believe. And then my thesis was due early August. So in that time, for a little bit, I just hung out at home. And then I got a full-time job. So for about 2 months, I was doing a full-time job and finishing up my thesis, which was not my favorite time, but I did it. So yeah, I like I said, Kalina and I were international students. And during that time, we got to go on a trip, like a school trip with our school. We each went on one. And I really liked it. And so now that's what I do. Not for the school we went to, for a different school back home. But now I get to work with international students every day. And whatever, it's fine. I love it.
And like kind of the same thing I was saying, I imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, but like you obviously have the real world experience and not far removed from it either. So you can say to these international students, I have been in your shoes, I know it's not easy. Because I don't think people realize, and this is not just international students, I haven't lived at home for longer, like I haven't been at home for a full calendar year since I left for college, so like 6 years now. I have not been home for any good chunk of time. I haven't been home for Christmas or Thanksgiving, or like I miss pretty much everyone in my family's birthday, because they're all during times where I'm not home. And like it's fine, I like my life, but like sometimes it's very hard. It's not, and I think when people who live someplace, like I come here and like my team or whatever, while they are like, oh yeah, it must be hard that you're not home, they don't live with it every day. They don't know the little things that are difficult, and the little things that like they all pile up, and then it's one big thing all of a sudden after 3 months of little things pile up, and then you're having a breakdown because you haven't seen your mom in several months. So like I think it's really nice to have someone who gets it, even if they're not living that anymore. So I think that's important.
I agree.
All of our expats out there. It's not easy.
No, it's not. But I hope to be doing it again soon. So
like the holidays just passed, and like Christmas Day was nice. Like Christmas Eve was terrible for me, and Christmas Day I had a great day, but Christmas Eve I was like, this is so bad. And then the worst part is, because my mom is very supportive and I love her, every time I tell her I'm sad and I want to come home, she goes, yeah, but you chose to be there. Which, like, is not wrong, but, like, not what I need to hear when I'm sad about not being home. Because, like, at the end of the day, it's like, I'm not home, but also that was my decision.
Doesn't...
That's hard.
Yeah. Just because I chose it doesn't make it easier to live with on some occasions. But Anyway,
On a
Clint
cheerier
and I
note.
both got our dream jobs, and they're different jobs, and I think, but anyway, we both got our dream jobs, which was really nice. Um,
I can't complain at the end of the day. Like,
yeah,
I could, but like, I won't.
I think like, whatever, like 13-year-old Eleanor, like fresh into high school Eleanor, would be very happy with what I'm doing. So,
I never planned, no, not like in a negative way, but like, I like in my head, you know, when like you're little and you're like, oh, one day I'm gonna be married and have a house, and I never really thought like past being like, I'd say 19 really.
oh yeah,
Because the only thing I ever wanted to do when I was young, this is before I started playing water polo. The only thing I ever wanted to do was have multiple degrees. And then I started playing water polo in high school. So like I also wanted to play water polo professionally. But those were my two goals. And like now I have 2 degrees and I play water polo professionally. I'm just flying by the seat of my pants all the time. But also, if I hadn't gotten up and gone to Ireland for college, I wouldn't be here now. Because I don't think it would be easy for me to just up and leave. But I up and left for college at 17, so now I'm like, yeah, that's normal. I've spent the entirety of my adult life not at home, essentially. So like for me, that's being at home is weird. I like being home; it's wonderful. But like after 3 weeks or something, my mom's like, "Can you please leave the house for an hour?" She's like, "Get in the car and go and come back an hour because I'm tired of you being here." So, not in a rude way. She's lovely. I love you, Mama. But she did ask me to leave one time. Anyway, what's the next question? And we're running close on time.
We are. We only have one question.
Oh boy. Okay.
Because I do have a future plans question in there, but I don't know what I'm gonna do in the future. My future plan is I'm probably gonna make a grilled cheese, and that's as far as I'm willing to go.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Actually, sorry, I do have one other future plan. Clint and I have been talking about we've never traveled in the United States together. So I've been thinking about doing that. I hope we do this year.
I think I've been to more countries than I have states. And like one time I met this lady from Germany who's like, I've been to 48 states. And I was like, I've been to 3 of them.
3.
So it feels a little embarrassing.
A little bit, but I'm hoping we do that because I haven't been around the United States very much.
Yeah.
Anyway, now it's current media we've been loving or hating.
I don't watch things. I watch Law and Order. And then that's the extent of the things that I watch. I got into that band Ice Nine Kills recently, which is exposing Kalina as the kind of music I listen to. But yeah, I really got into Ice Nine Kills recently, like the last couple months. I've been reading a lot more because I finally have like time without school and stuff. I read Frankenstein recently. Eleanor and I had a long debate about whether books count as media, but I think it's close enough for this question, for the sake of this question. I read Frankenstein recently, and Frankenstein was really, really good. I think out of the classics, that's my favorite now. I like The Great Gatsby. I think The Great Gatsby gets a lot of flack.
I agree.
What movie did I watch? Oh, I watched The Mummy the other day, which I've seen before, but The Mummy's a great movie. And TV show. I'm trying to pick something from everything. I really like Law and Order.
That's fair enough.
Good show.
Do you watch a lot of any Slovak media? Because I know in Ireland we didn't really consume a lot of Irish media.
Because I don't have a TV right now. And before I lived with my housemate. My housemate spoke English, so we would watch stuff together. Also, Slovak's very close to Czech, so a lot of stuff is in Czech, and I don't know enough Slovak that I understand it. If that makes sense. I need to be more fluent in Slovak before Czech makes sense to me. But a lot of the nice thing about speaking English and being from America is that most countries have a lot of media that is in English.
Yeah, they have a lot of Hollywood stuff.
Yeah, when I did have a TV at my other apartment with my teammate, we watched Friends. Friends was on all the time, and we just swapped the language to English, and it was great.
Friends is honestly, look, it's not perfect, but it is a good time wasting show.
I don't think it's trying to do anything deep, so I don't think it's worth it to critique it. No. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It's a bunch of 20-something-year-olds being stupid and living life.
Yeah, it's a bunch of white people.
Make a statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. I'll go through one of each. New TV. I watched Abbott Elementary, and it was really good. Um, and I've been watching a lot of New Girl and Modern Family. One thing about me, I love a sitcom. Sitcoms are absolutely my favorite, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I don't like media that makes me think about things, which is awful because
I
movies
hate
do.
when like they're like, this wasn't a good movie because the blah 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 social. Sometimes the point of entertainment is to escape. It
Hmm.
doesn't have to be deep to be good.
Exactly. It just has to waste your time in a way that's enjoyable.
I do. Oh, sorry, I just remembered. I watched Glass Onion the other day. Glass Onion was good. The second Knives Out movie, and I enjoyed that.
I was supposed to go see that, but something came up, like at a friend's house. I know it's a Netflix show.
I know. I just think that's a good example of like, I think those are fun movies. They do make a statement, but it like they're like, even if you remove that, I think they would still be enjoyable to watch.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Let's see. No, fair enough. Movies. I was using your segment to think about movies, but I've watched movies recently. I don't really like movies. I watched Liar Liar for the first time.
I
Didn't
told
like
Eleanor she
it.
should watch The Truman Show. She
I
told me she
might.
watched Liar Liar. So then I watched The Truman Show, and it stands up and holds up. It's good.
I might do that after this. I have the
Oh,
day off. I don't have anything to do.
fun. Not to keep interrupting Eleanor, but I think this
No,
is an
whatever.
interesting thought we'll leave you to think on. That those family vlogging channels on YouTube are like The Truman Show, but worse.
Hmm.
Because they're inflicting it on their own children, and I don't think family vlogging channels should be allowed. Personally speaking, I just
I
just
agree.
saw a TikTok where someone was talking about how, I guess some lady on TikTok shows her kid, and then has been showing her kid less recently, and people were like making videos about it. And one girl made a video, and she was like, "I miss my babies. When can we see my babies?" You don't know, and she
You
was
are a
like, "Cause
crazy
I feel."
person.
She was like, I feel like I know them because, like, we've been through them with their diaper rash and sit in McDonald's in the car. You don't know these people. Get a job.
Oh my god.
Get a grip. Touch some grass. Come back in another 3 weeks. And she was like, can we see them? Can we see my babies for Christmas? Whose babies?
Oh, that's I don't
It was the
like
My
that.
Babies. The everything else was bad, but the My Babies was the
Was
like killer.
Yeah. Like I have the cutest little niece in the world, and sometimes I'll call her my baby. She's not. I know she's not. I'm not an insane crazy person.
You know
Um,
her. I
I
assume
know
you have
her.
seen her.
I have
You've been
seen
in the
her.
same room as her.
I have been in the same room as her. I have physically touched her physical form. I knew her mother when she was pregnant with her. She's not mine in any way, shape, or form.
I have some cousins I like babysit for the weekend. We bring them down, and I call them. I don't even call them mine. We call them the blueberries because they like blueberries. So they're the blueberries, but like that's as much as much claim as I will lay to children that I did not birth. That's so weird. Paris, listen, not to get into parasocial relationships, but so weird. Anyway, I was trying to give you some time to think of a movie. Did you come up with anything?
Oh,
Besides?
no, I didn't. I watched a movie that I like, but it's not new at all. It's The Proposal with Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock.
I keep
Um,
meaning to watch that, but I have mixed feelings about Ryan Reynolds. But I really like Sandra Bullock.
I really like Ryan Reynolds. I think it's a good movie. Betty White's in it, and she's very funny. And it's got
I
a
also don't like
dog.
rom coms. That's the other problem.
I do. I like a rom-com.
The
I
best
think
rom com, and the only one I will recommend is 13 Going on 30 with Jennifer Garner and young Mark Ruffalo, rom com king. Love him.
I think I'm the type of person that I can't watch reality TV because I think I'll get sucked into it. Because I really like time-wasting media.
It's so, especially when we were in school, because like your brain's working all the time. It's so nice to like turn something on that you don't have to pay attention to. You don't really have to like get invested in. It's so nice.
And like I think both of our jobs right now, even though we like them, they can be very, very stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And again, for the two of us, we both have kind of seasons or months where it's going to be way more stressful than any
Yeah.
other time of the year. And so it's so nice to put in a horrible 8 hours at work and then just watch two British people be mad at each other.
I've been watching a lot of like YouTubers talking about books. That's been my thing lately because I've been getting back into reading, but I don't always have time to sit down and read. So like the next big thing is watching someone else. But I really like videos where they're talking about books they thought were stupid. Like I watched this one lady where she was like, I read the entire Arranged Marriage series, so you didn't have to. And then it was like the 7-book series. It was so stupid. I just went on forever, but I had a great time. I'm sorry. We're trying to get to your media. What music have you been listening to lately?
Oh, sorry. I mean, obviously, we'll talk about this later. Taylor Swift's new album. I have been... I'm trying to go through, like, the new ones, because I traveled a little bit this year, and so I queued up a new album to listen to. I listened to Carly Rae Jepsen's new album, The Loneliest Time. Amazing. So good. No skips, which is rare for me, because I'm a little hater.
It is. It's free.
Costs
$0.
It is. It's free and it's fun. I also listened to the 1975's new album, and I had mixed feelings on it, but I liked a couple of them. I haven't been watching or reading books. What other media?
You haven't been watching books? I didn't know you could watch books.
Okay, do you know what a movie is, Dum Dum?
Shut up. Speaking of books, I was going to ask Elanor live on camera to help me pick my next book because I just finished a book yesterday. So, Well, this morning in the wee hours of the morning. I'm only going to give you the title because I'll read you the description. I'll be here all day. So we have If You Could See the Sun. I'll give you 5, okay?
Okay.
Because there's about 40 of them here. My New Year's resolution is to stop adding books to my to-be-read list until I actually read the ones here. We have Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. The Chalk Man. What is that, 3 or 4? 3?
That's 3.
Slavery by Another Name. The Re-Enslavement of Black Americans from the Civil War to World War II. Or The Stranger, which is a French book.
Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow.
Okay, thanks.
Mostly because I only know how to spell that word because of One Direction.
All right. Well, Elanor, what do you got any while we wrap up? Any media, anything for the year? Any New Year's resolutions? Any hopes, dreams, comments, concerns?
Let's see. I really want to. I'm trying to think of like media I'm excited for, but I don't know any. I heard recently that Fall Out Boy is going to come back with an album this year, and I did not like their last one, but I'm very interested in hate listening, or at least hoping to like it.
Okay.
I think I'm going to try to be a better sport about movies this year and try to like them a little bit more. Because sometimes if I only have 2 hours in a day, a movie's 2 hours, and I can get invested in a story in 2 hours. Yeah. I think it would be fun if we finally got to record one of these live.
Oh my God, we'd have so much content.
Like together in the same room.
Yeah. I still have TikToks in my drafts from when you and I met up in March last year.
Me too.
That would be like that, but worse. Pierce the Veil is supposed to be coming out with a new album, so that should be good. They released 2 singles, and like they're okay. I like their older stuff, so like it's not that their new stuff is bad. I just like their older sound, if that makes sense. So like it still sounds like them, but like movies, I don't know what is coming out. Who's got movies going on? I don't know anybody.
No idea.
I don't watch anything.
No, me either.
I don't know. You know what I think they should make? Like a Nancy Drew movie, but a good one. No, not a Nancy Drew. They made Nancy Drew movies. They should make a Hardy Boys movie. When I was little, I read all the Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys books at the library, and they had to get more for me.
I read Nancy Drew. I never did the Hardy Boys, but
I like mysteries. The
I
cop
love
shows
a good mystery.
and I like heist movies are my favorite kind of movies. Ocean's 11 gal. Anyway, we're not gonna go over on time because we're good and we are responsible podcasters.
Yes, we are.
But thank you for listening. We should be posting one of these a week. If you have anything you want to hear us talk about, let us know, preferably media related, but we're very bad at staying on topic, so really anything's open. Again, you can find us on Instagram at Don't Quote Us on That. TikTok is also Don't Quote Us on That. And we're on Twitter at Don't Quote Us 27. You can listen to us wherever you're listening to us here, obviously. So YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, all those fun little things. And we usually post updates on our Instagram if you're looking for those. So
we're funny everywhere else, but I think Instagram is for updates.
Yeah. Oh, we're hilarious. Like even if you don't listen to the show, just go like our post on Instagram and give us the engagement. I'll take it.
Wait. I want one thing before we leave. I need a pop culture or media of whatever kind prediction for 2023. Just one. Oh. Let's go.
Can you give yours while I think?
Yes, I think that Taylor Swift is going to get one step closer to EGOTing.
I think I'm very bad at these. You've asked me this before. I think they're going to do a reboot of something that does not need a reboot. Is that too big?
Other than that 90s show?
Yeah. I think reboots are okay, but I think they're doing them for media that's if I remember watching it, it's too early. You know what I mean? Like how they did Kim Possible movie. I watched Kim Possible when I was little. Now was not the time for a Kim Possible movie. No. So I think Disney specifically is going to reboot something that's from our childhood. They already did that, so Raven. What else could they do? Like a Hannah Montana reboot or spin-off?
Hannah Montana, Sweet Life.
Wizards.
I would love that. I don't
know if they'll do Sweet Life because they did Sweet Life on Deck and Sweet Life with Zach and Cody, and then they did Sweet Life on Deck. So I don't think they'll do a Sweet Life one. I could see a Hannah Montana or a Wizards of Waverly Place, especially because Selena Gomez has been not back in the spotlight, but she's been doing more stuff now. She's in that show, Only Murders in the Building. That's really good. So I could see a Wizards of Waverly Place shebang happening.
I would have a lot of fun with that.
That's my theory. Wizards of Waverly Place or Hannah Montana reboot or sequel or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think for Hannah Montana, I don't think Miley Cyrus would go back and do that.
Yeah, no, it would definitely be same premise.
Yeah, and their cash grab will guest stars. I think I could see it.
Also, I love Miley Cyrus. I don't think Disney would take her back. I think Miley Cyrus is great, but I think Disney wants to separate.
I think they're definitely in two different stages of their
everything
pop culture journey right now.
Yeah.
But yes, we are back. We are very excited. We're going to do our best to be as consistent as possible.
Well, we won't make any promises. I think that's what led us down the rabbit hole the last time.
Yes. We will definitely do at least one episode a month. That we can say for 100% certainty.
Certainty.
Yes.
I've been Kalina.
I have been Elanor. Thank you for listening. Thank you for, I don't know, liking? Do people like things now?
Subscribe, comment.
Yes.
Share.
Follow us on TikTok.
Follow us on TikTok.
Come back.
Tell your friends. We'll see you next week.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Don't quote me on that. One day we'll have an outro, but it's not today.